Alrighty, there we go. And I want to introduce our first organization here. This is Julius Education, and we have Shakir and Ben. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Thank you.
Maddie, thank you so much for that introduction. As Maddie said, my name is Shakir Cannon Moy. I'm a vice president with Julius Education. And Julius Education is a workforce technology company. So, with the question we're really trying to answer is how do we provide better labor market intelligence for the job seekers? Prior to joining Julius, I was a human capital consultant at Deloitte, and most recently was working at Jobs for the Future. And the one question we continue to bump up against is we don't have the level of detail in the data we need to make decisions. So often in these fast-moving industries like clean energy, advanced manufacturing, nuclear, the jobs are coming online so fast that the job titles are different across employers, what they mean. And so for folks like yourself trying to find footing, it's hard to understand how your skills and your capabilities align. And so we're here because we're excited to partner with organizations like ABN to provide some of that career navigation, skill transferability resources. Before I go any further, Ben, I want to give you some space to introduce yourself, and then maybe I'll talk a little bit more about some of the tools we've been building.
Yeah, totally. Thanks, Shakir. My name is Ben. I am currently in college right now and interning with Julius this summer. And it's been a really great opportunity to understand the ins and outs of some of this career navigation stuff in um, industries like clean energy and some other things beyond that. And it's been really insightful to see the stuff that me and Shakira have worked on and see all those possibilities for people in the industry. So it's kind of bridging that gap between the opportunities we're seeing and building that workforce to support those opportunities. And with that, I'll pass it back to Shakir.
Very, very well said, Ben. So what we've been able to do is leverage AI and machine learning to build the deepest repository of skill taxonomy and job demand, and it's based on a zip code level. So we can look at your local zip code and say what are the most in-demand jobs, what employers are hiring for those roles, and then being able to map the skills of those job requirements to the skills you may be bringing. And so I'm happy to maybe walk through a couple tools that we did to kind of animate what this looks like to provide some context, and then maybe we did a quick study for Maddie based on some profiles of previous ABM participants to see how that could play out in real life and walk through our skills transferability tool. So first, I want to bring up we're currently doing some work in Florida, and let me see if I can share a screen here. Currently doing some work in the Florida Gulf, and it's answering, trying to answer a very similar question. How do we help find people that are in the midst of a job change, whether that be student, adult learners, career changers, or just general explorers find their footing? And so we're able to build this platform, and I think something similar we want to be able to provide for this organization in partnership with ABN is how can we start from being able to take an assessment, better learn about your current skills and capabilities, and based on that information, provide bespoke or personalized job recommendations. And then based on those job recommendations, we've built career maps that identify the most in-demand jobs in the region, and then what are the progression pathways associated with that. And then lastly, where I think might be of interest to some of the folks on this call is that we built some orientation courses that give the overview what it means to be in clean energy. So we partnered with the Center for Energy and Workforce Development to build the energy industry fundamentals. It's a 120-hour in-seat course, which we've been able to distill down to 5 or 6 hours for asynchronous learning. So that's on platform as well. And in addition to that, we've been in conversation with a lot of major employers, and one of the things they continue to say is the durable skills are the differentiator. And so on platform, we have some courses you can take in that space. And so I'll just walk through what the platform looks like, and you can imagine what a version of what this look like for the locals in Boston. And so a little bit about what the program is in Florida, who are some of the employer partners that I think ABN is able to work with, and then everyone will have their own login information, be able to come here and sign in really quickly. And then I think one of the things that is, you take this as learner assessment I've already completed, and I'll spare you all from seeing what that looks like. But the at the end you get these really personalized job recommendations. What it means to be an electrical apprentice, what are the personality traits and that were really aligned, and what are some places that you might want to develop. And then just a bit of a race, what does your personality profile break down to, and some 4 or 5 key takeaways. The personality assessment is based on the Big Five model, which is the same thing the federal government uses in their ONET assessment. So we wanted to make sure we were tracking to that experience. And then just a little bit more detail about how you can think about your skills and personality and how that shows up in the workplace. And if you wanted to learn more about what it meant to be an electrical apprentice, here's the local salary range. What are the education requirements, responsibilities, and then what are the skills, certifications, and preferred and required? And lastly, a link out to that career map I was mentioning. Jumping quickly to that career map, it links directly to that electrical apprentice and it shows some obvious and non-obvious progression pathways. I think going from an apprentice to a journey person is probably straightforward, but I don't know if folks always see the overlap between electricians and HVAC or moving to solar. A lot of folks say solar is a tool in the toolkit of an electrician, and you get to look at some of that detailed information we just saw here, but also the ability to see what are the progression pathways. And you continue to walk that up, and you can see to a solar crew leader to a solar site inspector and where that could ultimately lead. And so you get a summary of what that career pathway here and how that salary progresses over time. And then lastly, able to jump back to the platform and take those learnings I talked about on platform. So here's the orientation course I was just describing that we built with the Center for Energy and Workforce Development. Some of those durable skills, whether that's emotional intelligence, email etiquette, project management, some of those skills that are going to be transferable to most roles, if not all. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight, and I think is probably really well suited for this group, is skills transferability. And so one of the things we spent some time building out is you're able to enter your current role. What is your background? What are you doing? And see how that aligns to some in-demand jobs in your area. So this is just a demo that we built for a water organization down in Georgia called the Water Tower, and saying if you're an IT support technician today and your target role is to be a data analyst, a wastewater data analyst, how can I explore that transition with a detailed analysis of what the overlap and how you would go about getting there? And so you could see this being built as part of that platform I just walked through and providing you with why is that transition possible? What are some of the difficulties in making that happen? And what are some overlaps and how do expectations evolve over time? So this is really trying to get to the granular. I'm here. I know I had the skills I have, but I don't know what it requires to be these destination roles I'm looking for. Help me make sense of that transition. And this is a tool that we built out and really think can bring some data to life. And I know I've been going long, so I'm going to quickly just bring up a quick study we did for the group and show what that kind of could look like on a data from a data aspect. Much much help from Ben on pulling this together. But this is a report where we looked at I want to say different roles. So someone coming in as an assistant project manager, and based on the Boston area and STEM education, what that could look like in different roles across. And so we looked at these three, four, five profiles and said, yeah, being an assistant project manager would be good with someone who might have a PMP certification and general agile skills. And then I think another profile we looked at was someone with Scrum. And so we're taking the skills that you guys have coming in mid to senior and being able to apply those to in-demand clean energy roles to say what are those roles, but also who's hiring for those roles in the area. And we were able to do that across, I want to say, three or four roles. And so this will be the type of data that we piped into that tool I just showed and gives you a real look at what are some live opportunities that you can pursue based on your individual background. I know I have to jump at one, so Maddie, if it's okay, I wanted to maybe see if I could leave a couple minutes for questions, if that's all right.
Yes, absolutely. I want to take, after each person presents, I want to take a couple minutes for questions, and then at the end, we'll do a general Q&A. So if people have questions for you at that point, I can always forward them to you later on. But yeah, if anyone has questions on what Shakir has mentioned, I want to leave time for questions. So feel free to jump in if you have any.
I can also stay on the call till the end to answer questions if Shakira has to leave.
All right, great. Thank you.
Put a question in the chat.
Oh yeah, Valerie says in the chat, is your organization all mid to senior?
No, Val, that's a really good question. So typically, I think ABN is stretching us a bit. When we started, we were really focused on entry level roles and how do we take folks who are just trying to get started in this space. But I think what we found was about unique about the ABN network is folks typically are past that entry level role and have maybe professional degrees that just not be recognized in the US. And so we were answering a different question, but we've traditionally focused on entry and been moving upstream ever since.
Thank you.
And Elizabeth also has a question in the chat here. She's asking for clarification on how to access the resource.
That's a really good question. And so we are, I like to say, Julius are the nerds with the tools, and we partner with organizations like ABN and other community organizations in the ecosystem to provide those tools. And so I could see, I think in my dream scenario, Maddie, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, where Julius partners with ABN to be able to provide these resources to the community. Love to partner with the library. I think we just want to get this tool out to as many folks as possible and don't realize we don't have the relationships to do so. So Kristen would love to talk offline if you're open to it.
Thank you. Does anyone else have questions for Shakir on any of the information he's shared or the tools that he shared? You can either put it in the chat if you have questions, shout out now, or if not, that's okay.
And if not, while we wait, Maddie, I do want to just really thank you for this opportunity. I think there's a huge opportunity for us to think about skills transferability in a really deep way. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to explore partnering with ABN and serving this community as best as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys both for preparing these resources today and for being here to share them. But if there's no more questions for Shakir and Ben, I can pass it over to our next person here, who is presenting from Northeast HERS. We have Abdul, and we also I think Betsy, I think she's in here too. So if Betsy, if you want to introduce yourself as well, feel free. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to them now. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Maddie, for the introduction. And I think Betsy might just be listening in, but if she's going to introduce herself, Betsy, please feel free to jump in. But yeah, thank you to ABN for having us and for being a premium supporter of our programming, and we hope that we are the same to them. And yeah, today I'm just going to be talking about our mentorship program that we run every spring and every fall, every year. And it was, recently started, so it's still a new program, but it is a great pathway for those looking to get an entry into the clean energy sector, and get a good job, a good wage, starting wage without a college education. But without further ado, Maddie, if you don't mind, just pull up the slides for me.
Yes, just give me one moment to grab these. They're just taking a second to open, but I will be sharing them in 1 second.
Thank you, thank you.
Alrighty. Okay. And Abdul, whenever you want me to switch between slides, just let me know.
Yes, will do.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. All right, everybody. Hi, welcome. This is an introduction to the NEHERS RFI and Modeler Mentorship Program. My name is Abdul Rahman Gabriel. You can call me Abdul, that's fine. And I'm a success coach at the Northeast Home Energy Rating System Alliance. My job is primarily to support the students logistically as they are going through their program and make sure that they have what they need to succeed and, get the appropriate professional development and job placement support at the end of their program. The Northeast Home Energy Alliance, Home Energy Rating System Alliance, is also known as NEHERS. We are a 501(c)(6) not-for-profit organization that was formed in 1998 to build a robust HERS industry in the Northeast. We provide training, professional development, and resources to the home energy rating system community in the 10 states of the Northeast. But as you can see, we have members as far away as Alaska, and you can see the 10 states highlighted over in the map in the dark green. And over the last 27 years, NEHERS has run successful HERS Rater trainings about 3 or 4 times a year. And in the 9 years since 2016, we have trained 341 HERS Raters, and 176 of them were from the state of Massachusetts. Next slide, please. So the HERS rating industry is overseen nationally by the Residential Energy Services Network, or as we call it,
Hi there.
thank you, or as we call it, ResNet. ResNet was formed in April of 1995, and it's growing rapidly. And in 2024, there were about 436,798 homes HERS rated in the country. This is 78,820 more homes that were entered into the registry during the same time in 2023, which is an 18% increase. 2023 was actually a record year in terms of the number of the homes HERS rated. And since over 4.4 million homes have been rated, and the ResNet Board of Directors set the goal in October 23 for ResNet to achieve 1 million ratings per year by the end of 2028. And that means it's going to take a lot of raters. Next slide. So in Massachusetts, demand is accelerating for the HERS industry and its workers due to the Massachusetts code changes that happened on July 1st. The stretch code HERS 4245 targets are so strict that builders will have a hard time meeting code without engaging with a HERS rater early in the design process to ensure that energy efficiency goals are met. The Massachusetts Clean Energy Center Workforce Needs Assessment, which details the need for clean energy workforce in the state of Massachusetts by 2030. It puts the needed growth rate for high performance buildings at 17% in order to add the 13,000 workers needed by 2030. The study also projects the need for 530 more workers in the construction and building inspector category, which includes HERS raters by 2030. There is a significant need to widen the funnel by expanding entry-level programming and reduce the burden on tech slash vocational schools. And there's also a distinct need for mentorship training for people of color and women in these fields. And 88% of employers are having difficulty finding workers. Next slide, please. So the ResNet HERS Index is the gold standard for energy efficiency assessments in the residential market in the US because it has a robust quality assurance or QA process, which provides third-party verification of a home's energy efficiency. The HERS Index score, as you see in front of you, is used to measure a home's energy efficiency. Lower is good, higher is bad, like golf. The HERS index is kind of like MPG for a home, or miles per gallon. It calculates the amount of energy used by a home during daily operations, heating, cooling, lighting, etc. And for those who are looking to rent or buy a home, for example, instead of relying on utility bills, which may show how much energy the previous family used, utility bills are hard to compare between a family of four and a family of one. So the HERS index then removes the human variables and provides a standardized measurement of a home's energy efficiency performance across different building types, same way as miles per gallon in a car. Next slide, please. In order to get a home rated, a HERS rater is needed. And the HERS rater is kind of an energy auditor who will go to the home in order to take measurements, conduct site inspections, and perform diagnostic tests. They then take that data back to the office and use powerful software to create energy model of the building. They use this model to analyze the data, create the final HERS rating report, which allows them to make recommendations to builders or homeowners on how to make the most cost-effective energy improvements in a home or a building. What you see in front of you are some of the tools that are used by a HERS rater in the field to evaluate a home's energy efficiency. All right, next slide, please. So, as I said, the Northeast HERS Alliance has been training HERS raters since 1998. But as of April 2024, we have expanded our programming to include the mentorship programming for two new entry-level pathways into the HERS rating industry: the Rating Field Inspector, or the RFI, and the HERS Modeler, both of which work under a certified HERS rater who oversees the entire HERS rating process. As a reminder, this program, it comes at no cost to any of our uh, students. After you apply, you go through the interview process and you get the first pathway, which goes out into the field. This is the Rating Field Inspector, or the RFI. They take measurements, they conduct site inspection, collect data. They do basic performance tests like air tightness and duct leakage, using equipment like a blower door, lasers, and other cool devices that you just saw in the previous slide. This is very much a hands-on role. They're always in the field, and they don't need as much training as a HERS rater. And becoming an RFI is a great way to gain experience in the field before going on to become a HERS rater. The RFI role is considered a physically demanding role. So, RFIs routinely have to carry 40 pounds of equipment, climb up to 10 feet, and on a ladder, stand for long periods of time, and drive for several hours in a day from site to site. NEHERS, just as a note, does not provide any accommodations to individuals with physical disabilities. For the RFI role, it is important that you know the physical demands of the role prior to becoming an RFI, which are standards expected to be met by future employers. On the other hand, there's the HERS modeler, and this individual takes the data gathered in the field by the RFI, and then they create the computer model of the home using specialized software to simulate its energy performance. This does require specific training on the ResNet accredited HERS software, usually Ecotrope or RemRate, and then the modeler will be using that. Once trained, a HERS modeler can work remotely and doesn't ever have to go on site. And being a modeler is an excellent opportunity for people with physical disabilities to participate in the energy efficiency industry, or for those with experience in the building trades who want less physically demanding work towards the end of their careers. What the combination of that is the HERS rater for both the RFI and the modeler together makes a HERS rater. And it's basically you have those two experiences, and then you get the additional training to do the analytics in order to understand how to improve a building's energy efficiency performance. So almost like a consulting aspect to the role. And the HERS rater, which is a combination of both, obviously then would be working both in the field and in the office. And of the three, they do have to do the most training requirements in order to get their certification. Next slide, please. So when you enter the industry as an RFI or a HERS modeler, either pathway is an excellent way to gain experience before becoming a full HERS rater. And once you achieve your HERS rating credentials, that will open the door to many pathways for career advancements, which could include above code programs like Energy Star, LEED, Passive House certifications, IECC code compliance specialist, quality assurance designee, or a HERS trainer. Or there are also non-certified roles like advisor for affordable housing projects or to a municipality. These are all excellent opportunities for people who want to change careers by moving into a growing industry. Next slide, please. And in front of you are some of the list of reasons why people would hire a HERS rater in the first place, and these reasons are growing. So let's say you want your IECC code compliance, your stretch code compliance, you want to get some duct testing done, blower door testing, some building diagnostics, value engineering, forensics, and so much more. Next slide, please. So at the moment, we are accepting applications for the Fall 2024 mentorship program for RFIs, HERS modelers, and HERS raters. And they are in the link in the slide, which I will post with along with my email later on after my presentation is done. So again, both RFI and HERS models are entry level positions. They do not require previous experience. They both provide a good wage without a college education, and each is a stepping stone to becoming a full HERS rater and to getting started in a field that is growing rapidly. Next slide, please. So here are some of the requirements to apply to our program or to be accepted into our program rather. So the program at the moment is only open to Massachusetts resident. You also must be 18 years or older. And if you live in an environmental justice community or you meet low income eligibility requirements, you do get priority. You must be authorized to work in the United States, and that is primarily because after the program is done, we do require you to get a job in the industry, which we will help you with, so that way you can get your full-on certification because of the providership situation. Um, you have to have a valid driver. Actually, no, you don't have to have a valid driver's license. You have to have a valid ID, but you don't need a driver's license. However, I will say it is very beneficial to have a driver's license or and a car because there are going to be many instances where you would have to drive from site to site and do your job shadowing. So it's definitely helpful, but it's not a requirement. Um, you have to have a working computer and a reliable Wi-Fi because our classes are on Zoom. Applications are currently being accepted on a rolling basis. Our next training is in the spring of 2026. So right now, fall 2025, and then spring of 2026. We will accept applications for the fall until the training is full. So get your application in as early as possible. It's the 25th today, so you have about a week until the deadline, which is August 1st for the September training. And remember, if you were referred to submit an application or found our application through a third party, say ABN, for example, be sure to include who you were referred by in field 17 of the application form. And just to give you an idea of what the programming itself, sorry, next slide, Maddie. Thank you. Just to give you an idea of what the programming will look like for the fall. So at the moment, the RFI and modeler trainings will run concurrently on Zoom from 5 to 7:30 p.m. weeknights for 5 weeks. And then the modelers will continue an additional 10 weeks from 5 to 7 p.m. weeknights to complete the remainder of their programming. Participants can expect to spend about 10 to 15 hours per week on the training, including the job shadowing requirements for time in the field with experienced raters. And then both RFIs and modelers will also be paired with a career mentor and will receive ongoing success coaching from someone like me, support, uh, and will receive also job placement support, so on and so forth. Next slide, please. And then students who have already completed our RFI or HERS model training will be given priority for one of the 5 mentored slots in our regular HERS training, HERS Rater training. The HERS training, it is an intensive month of training, which goes at a much faster pace than the RFI or modeler trainings. And the students in the mentor slots will also be paired with a career mentor and will receive ongoing success coaching and will receive job placement support. So just to clarify, you can go directly to HERS Rater training, but however, we see it as more beneficial from a learning perspective to do either RFI or modeler, and then eventually after you've had some time in a job as an RFI or a modeler, then to go on to become a HERS Rater. And you can also get that training with us as well. Next slide, please. So yes, the application deadline is August 1st for the fall training. We will consider any applications that come in after that date on a case-by-case basis until all the slots in the fall training are filled. If we are still receiving applications for the fall and all the slots are filled up, then we are more than happy to move your application to be considered for spring of 2026. And next slide, please. So yeah, this is pretty much our programming, obviously. I don't know if we have time for some questions, Maddie, but I'm happy to take some. And then as soon as this is done, I'm going to put my email in the chat, and I'm also going to drop the link for the application for our mentorship program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abdul. Yes, I would love to take some questions on this one because I think I already see some in the chat here. So I'm going to just go ahead and start off by reading what I see.
Okay.
Does work authorization include temporary ones like CPT or STEM OPT?
Temporary what?
Temporary work authorizations. So like STEM OPT or CPT. Would you guys take?
I would not know about the details of that because we do not handle any of the work authorization aspect. You kind of just have to come to us ready. But think about it like this. When you are done with our programming, we want you to be in the job market for at least a year or two. And, we we can't sponsor, we can't really do any of that. So we hope, maybe by then, maybe an employer is able to handle that part. But if you can come in and be in the job market for at least a year, 2 years, so that really it is worth your time and that you're not getting a disruption after however long you are in the job market, then yeah, we'll be happy to work with you. But we're not specific about what kind of work authorization, as long as it makes sense programming wise.
Thank you. And another question here. What is the approximate wage for RFI and modelers?
It's a good question. So at the moment, based on studies that we have made prior to starting the program, right now, this is per hour, it's about 25 to 30 per hour for RFIs and modelers. And then if you were to become a HERS rater, it would be 30 and all the way up to 40 per hour, depending on experience. So, you could be looking at a start of 45 to 60 $1,000 per year, and then it can go 60 all the way maybe up to 80 $1,000 per year for a HERS rater.
Thank you. And I want to throw a question in here too, because I think this is a really good opportunity for some people who are looking to get into the clean energy sector. And obviously, the timeline between now and when applications are due is a little bit tight. So, what are people expected to submit in their application?
So we actually have a pretty straightforward application process. As long as so just obviously you're going to fill out your basic information, then you're also going to fill out some demographic info about yourself. You will be asked about your household income, household size. That helps us determine kind of where you land in terms of demographics of the entire cohort. And it does also impact our selection process. So if you make, say, a lot of money, we don't feel like this would be a good switch for you if we can't help you make more than that. So it also a case by case basis. So you have to make it make sense, and then you just got to put in your references. You have to write a short essay, and then the most important part is submitting documentation. So your driver's license or a state ID, a resume, and yeah, work authorization if you do have one. But obviously, if you're U.S. citizens, that should not be a problem. So,
Okay, thank you. And I do just want to say for anyone listening in who's interested in this program, if you want to apply and you maybe need help reviewing the resume or the essay that's needed for this application, we would be more than happy to review that for you, us at ABN. So just if you have questions about this or need assistance with this application, just reach out to us afterwards or reach out to me for an email and I will help you out there.
thank you,
And I
Maddie.
see
Thank you.
Valerie has another question in the chat. She's wondering what ESOL level you're looking for.
So this part, we have a pretty, wide range for the ESOL levels, but the real challenge comes in the technical languages of building science. So I will add that we have had some struggles in the past about trying to find translators who will be able to better help people who need the ESOL courses with the exact technical languages that we would hope they would be learning from a building science perspective. So, maybe someone who has experience in building science, uh, still kind of learning the language, they will be able to have an easier time grasping some of the technical terminology, than someone who doesn't have the background and is also new to the language. So it very much varies on a case by case basis, but NEHERS is still very much doing its absolute best uh, to be supportive in that sense. And we are still very much looking for a more fitting approach to people who are still learning the language and trying to make sure that they understand conceptually some of the technical terms that they would have to face in their courses.
Okay, thank you for answering that. Does anyone else have any questions they'd want to put in the chat, or if you want to unmute and ask yourself, that's completely fine as well. But I think this is a good opportunity, and if people have any questions on it, now would be a great time to ask.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I'll put my email and the application link in the chat. Please, please, please reach out to me if you have any questions at all. I will be more than happy to help.
This
Thank
is
you.
Valerie. I do have
Hi,
another
Valerie.
question as far as the ESOL level goes.
Hmm.
Um, is technical language part of your training, and or is there a site someone could go to maybe pre-study some of the technical language? I have a person who I think would be great, but I think his ESOL might not be there.
Yeah, in terms, so we just built our own curriculum, so I very much will say that we do not have a site with our own technical languages. We are, this is a new program, so a lot of stuff
Mhm.
we're still learning as we go. But to answer your question directly, no, we don't. But we may be able to put something together for future purposes. I don't know if now is a feasible time for us, but this is something that could definitely happen in the future. But as of now, yeah, you we just expect students to come in first day of class and start learning that way.
Right, right.
So yeah, sorry if that wasn't too helpful.
No, yeah, it was a helpful answer. Thank you.
Of course, of course. But then on the other hand, still send us your people who you think would be great. And again, it's a case by case basis, so we might be able to unlock aspects of them that maybe seem like a challenge at first. So, don't hesitate in that sense. And we are still building our programming. And we're more than happy to work with anybody who comes our way, and we'll do our absolute best to make sure that they are supported.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Does anyone else have more questions for Abdul? If not, that's totally fine. Like he said, he's gonna put his email in the chat. So if maybe people are more comfortable asking questions over email, feel free to reach out to him. But next up, I wanna shift to our next presenter. We have Christine from Transform Power Systems, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch things over to her. Christine, I have your slides. Do you want me to pull them up for you?
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, please. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Christine Massey, and I am one of the project managers at TPS. And we have this beautiful fellowship that we started, I want last year, and we've been working hard with the community, especially ABN, to provide a segue into the clean energy sector. Next slide, please. Yeah. So TPS Clean Energy Fellowship is a professional development and training experience. So we are trying to help professionals transition into the clean energy sector by providing them with technical knowledge, professional skills, and navigation support so that they can build their career. Next slide. So we're looking for Massachusetts residents that have a bachelor's degree and at least 3 years of professional experience. And we're looking for people that are passionate and want to enter the clean energy space. Next slide. So the 12-month fellowship has two parts. The first part, we're trying to immerse you into the industry. So there's a formal training period for 12 weeks. This includes technical training on electrical power systems and renewable energy, professional skill development, and job search support. You guys will learn how to apply this environmental justice, how to apply the skills in environmental justice. And we're going to have employer-led learning. So there would be site visits. We would have workshops so that you can learn about the sector, meet some of the employers, and basically it's like a way to introduce yourself to these employers and sell yourself so that when it's time to transition to the next phase, which is week 13 to week 52, career navigation. So the second part of the fellowship, we're working on job placement support, industry relevant project development and networking opportunities, employment retention services, and ongoing mentorship. Next slide, please. So excuse me. So the whole point of Transform Power Systems Fellowship is for career placement. So we're looking for people that are passionate and would like to transition into this field. We will provide individualized coaching and career navigation support. How we will provide that to you is we will have stipends and wraparound support. So the first 12 weeks, there is a training stipend so that we can support you during this 12 weeks. During that time, we'll also provide you with one-on-one success coaching, so to support you in career and personal development. If needed, we'll help with transportation and technology assistance. Professional development part of it is providing you with industry certifications, career coaching, and networking access. And we also are striving to help build your soft skills and leadership skills. Next slide. Thank you. So we have four specialization tracks, but I want you guys to know that if there is something that you are more passionate about, like policy, or you don't see something up here, we will provide, the training needed. But let me go over the four that we have that are our most common. Project coordination and management. So we're looking to demonstrate proficiency in managing timelines, budgets, and stakeholder relationships for clean energy projects. Field service engineering, demonstrate proficiency in performing installation, diagnostics, and system maintenance for electrical equipment. Electrical system design, developing software-based layouts for solar, storage, and electrification systems. Quality assurance, demonstrate proficiency in ensuring systems meet design specifications, safety standards, and performance expectations. So like I said before, those are our four main tracks. We do have more hands-on tracks. So there's another portion, EIA, that we work with. So those positions are where you're really out on the field, like you, I'm sorry. We have other positions where it would be more like hands-on, where you could be out on the field, right? So working on the actual solar panels or working with companies that require you to gather the data gather the data at meters. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about the impact that we've had in the year that we have been doing this. So we have a 100% completion rate, which is great. So within the first 4 weeks, so after 16 weeks of completing the fellowship, 35% have begun full-time clean energy roles. And the average salary is 86,000. Okay, so some of the technical roles are solar designer, field technician, site inspector, strategy and operations, project manager, program analyst, energy efficiency associate, policy and community sustainability associate, customer service associate, and community partnership manager. So overall, I think we have done a great job. We're looking for people that can continue with our goals of making sure people are getting into the clean energy sector. Next slide. So I want you guys to know about the key dates. So applications close August 11th, and the fall cohort starts September 8th. So once again, it's 12 months of ongoing support. But starting September 8th, and 12 weeks after that, that is formal training. Okay, so there will be requirements for you to attend webinars, in-person workshops, meeting with your success coach weekly, and completing online courses, self-paced, and projects. So the most important thing is the employer projects. So you'll be working on real life projects that can impact the community. Any questions?
Hey, this is Valerie. I was wondering, you may have already said it and I missed it, but is this full time? Can you work and do your training at the same time?
And that's a great question. Thank you for asking. So we do have people that are working full time, and it depends on your schedule, right? So most of the webinars are in the evening, but there will be in-person day events. We will provide you with advance notice if they are in person. So we're telling the applicants that it could be up to 20 hours per week of assignments. So project work, webinars, um, and in-person events. So if there's an in-person event that's 8 hours, we will let you know in advance so that you could take the day off so that you could be there. But for the most part, it's self-paced learning online, evening webinars, and the occasional workshops or employer site visits.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Can I do it?
I'm sure, why not? If you apply and you really are interested in transitioning, we can have a conversation.
It really sounds great. Thank you.
Yes, no problem.
Thank you, Christine. I'm just seeing, I think your answer there addressed some of the questions in the chat. But I have another question here from Gabriel. He's wondering, do you also offer these opportunities to those with limited experience?
Oh, okay. Gabriel, please send me an email and we could talk, right? Because we do have different pathways. So depending on what level of experience you have, we can work with you if you are really interested in going into the clean energy sector. And I'll put my email address in the box, okay?
Yeah. And I do, before we continue with questions for Christine, I do just want to say that ABN is also working with TPS to screen applications for this process. So we have an application link that people can go to. They can submit their materials to ABN, and we can help you to revise anything that might need to be fixed up before going to the official application. So we're here for both the mentorship program and for this fellowship program that Christine and Abdul have talked about. We are here to help as the first step to make sure that your materials are all in a really good place and that you're really getting a bit of mentorship before submitting your official application. So please, I strongly encourage anyone who's interested in either of these opportunities to come to ABN first so we can make sure that you are going in there with you know, the best materials that you can put forward. So yeah, please just reach out to me if you are interested in either of these. Another question I'm seeing from Josephine. She's wondering how much is the stipend?
For the 12 weeks, it's 2,500, and it will be spread out in multiple payments.
Thank you. And another question here, is the training only in the day?
No, the webinars are usually in the evening, but we will let you know far in advance if there's an in-person event that's during the day. Though I could let you know now that September 8th is an in-person day event, which is the start of the cohort.
Mhm. Does anyone else have additional questions for Christine?
Thank you so much.
Oh, and where are the in-person trainings? Where will they take place?
And they will be taking place in the Boston area. I don't have the exact location, but they are in the Boston area, usually accessible by public transportation.
Okay, thank you. And I see um, someone is asking if you already have the hours for the evening trainings.
I can go based on past experience. They usually around 5 p.m. But I don't make the schedule, and it depends on, the presenter at that time. But when they say evening, it's definitely even like 5 after 5.
Okay. Maxine, what do we need to get started? You need to submit an application, but
Mhm.
go through us first so that we can help you with your application, okay?
Uh,
And
Kofi, you have a question?
let's see, I can do this.
Answers to some of the questions that I asked. But the most important question to me is for someone who, for instance, who's studying, let's say, in a broader area like clean tech, but wants to have this professional experience to sort of back it up and be more specific about career, because this offers an opportunity for professional development as opposed to just, being in academia.
Mhm.
Can you sort of like tailor something for this person to sort of have his interest, even if in research or like to marry the two, professional and then also be in academia at the same time? And then how the schedules go that this person can add this on onto a master's program whilst he is still in school.
Okay. So the applicant would still be in school, but they're majoring in clean tech. Am I correct?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
And what's the anticipated graduation?
December 2026.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that information. So we are looking for candidates that would be able to go into the clean energy sector within the first 16 weeks, right? So the purpose of the fellowship is to, help you with your career advancement. So what I would recommend is maybe applying for the next cohort in the winter, and that usually starts in February.
Awesome. Thank you very much for
No
this.
problem.
Okay, does anyone else have additional questions for Christine? We do have some more time, so if anyone wants to revisit questions from the past two presenters, now would be a great time to do so. So if you have any questions for our earlier presentations as well, just either shout it out now or you can put it in the chat.
I have a question, Maddie.
Yes.
About the TPS fellowship. How many cohort has been graduated so far? So the next cohort would be uh, in August. So how many graduation has been they have?
So the first one will actually be graduating in August, right? So they started August of 2024, and we had one in February of 2025. So the next cohort would be the third cohort that we have, but the first group is graduating from the whole year fellowship is in August. But at the end of the 12 weeks, there is a ceremony then for the formal training.
All right. And how much is the stipend for the duration?
2,500, but that does not include the certifications, right? So if there's a certification that you have to acquire before applying for a certain role, there's a stipend for that, and that goes up to $1,000.
All right. Thank you.
So let me just see if I got that. You can use the other stipend to pay for the testing or whatever certification fees you have to get.
Correct.
And is before the application or after?
Once they are accepted into the fellowship, and
Mhm.
where you're trying, so one example is NABCEP. So that is a certification for like solar people in solar design or solar installation. So there's a course and a certification exam, and we would cover that if that is needed before starting a job or required within like the first 90 days of a new position.
Oh, okay, I see. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Any other questions for any of our presenters? Okay, if not, that's completely fine. A little bit about next steps here. So I first of all want to thank everyone for being here today. I want to thank Christine, Abdul, Shakir, I think is gone, but thank you, Shakir and Ben as well for being here today and for presenting. We really do appreciate it, and this information is really valuable. And I hope everyone that was here as a participant learned a lot and is able to go forward and be involved with these organizations in some way. Like I mentioned, with the Northeast HERS mentorship and with the TPS fellowship, we are helping to refer people. So if you look in the chat here, Emmanuel has put the link for the application for the Clean Energy Fellowship on ABN side. So what we're doing is we're taking applications and we're screening them for TPS. And so we're helping them complete their applications, complete their resumes, any materials they need so that they're in the best shape before moving forward. We will do the same with anyone who's interested in the Northeast HERS mentorship. So if you want to apply, but you need help with your resume first, come to us. I'd recommend doing it as soon as possible because, as Abdul said, the mentorship applications close on the 1st. They're extended to, I think you said August 18th with a case-by-case basis, but I would strongly encourage you to get your application in by the 1st. And as Christine mentioned, the TPS fellowship application closes on, was it August 11th?
August 11th.
August 11th.
The earlier the better.
Yes.
I'm the one conducting the interviews, so I'd like to get them in and, so that we can have the schedule set up way in advance so people can coordinate what they need to do for their schedules.
Yes. So, like we mentioned, it's coming up kind of fast, so we want to get them in as soon as possible. So please reach out to us if you need help applying, if you need help with materials. If I'm seeing a question in the chat, if you feel like you need to do an in-person meeting to review an application, that is okay. Just reach out and we can try to schedule that. I'm speaking from ABN side at least. ABN will schedule in-person meetings to review anything you might need help with. So just reach out to us if you need that. I'm going to send a follow-up email with the information from today and with the slides as well as any links to apply for the programs we've mentioned. So thank you all again so much for being here. And if you have any further questions later on that you maybe would prefer to ask over email, just send those over to us, okay?
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, ABN. Appreciate
All
y'all.
right. Thank you all so much for being here. Have a great rest of your day.